Hello everyone, my name is Michal Sajdak, and I will show you live some of, I think, interesting web security bugs. There will be also a possibility to win a bottle of wine, actually 2 bottles of wine. This is very connected with IT security, and when you listen carefully, you will know why. What is what? F2B? This is a very good question. I think this is winning question for wine, bottle of wine. F2B is just father of 2 boys. Here you go. I have another bottle of wine, but this is clear, I think. Okay. So about me, I'm a pen tester, and also I deliver security trainings. In my spare time, I blog a bit on Securac. I also launched a Polish CTAF capture the flag portal, which is called rozwal.to. Okay. And the plan for today is showing a few vulnerabilities in Nuxeo platform. This is actually the first public disclosure of those bugs. There'll be one example of maybe not so obvious path traversal in this Nuxeo, unauthenticated. Then OS command execution, maybe not so standard, and external problem with external entity in XML processing, maybe not so standard also. After this stuff, I'll show you remote code execution in JBoss SIM library. It's a bit old, but from time to time I see this live in many systems, so it's quite interesting. Also, remote code execution through XSLT transformation, also live, and when we have some time, also a little neat trick for bypassing PHP upload filters. Okay, what is this Nuxeo stuff? This content management platform, document management platform targeted at enterprise. Their clients, for example, Electronic Arts, they use this to stage or manage their game builds, for example. Let's say flight industry, they're using this Nuxeo to push flyback information to iPads for pilots. What else? Defense industry, of course. Communication industry, they build secure extranet portal, or Orange builds secure extranet portal based on this Nuxeo platform. I hope they are applying also hotfixes, because this stuff which I'm showing you today is available only in the last hotfix. Okay, the history of these bugs. They were patched this year in February. They were reported by Michał Będkowski and Sebastian Gillon from my company. And here there are no details disclosed, actually. I'll show you live, and this will be the first public disclosure of these bugs. And maybe now about these bottles of wine, because all the reporting history was like this. Okay, guys, we found some interesting bugs in your platform. They said, okay, they are really nice. We'll be patching soon. What do you want for your report? And we said, actually, nothing. And they asked, do you drink from time to time? Oh, yes. So we are sending you 2 crates of wine. And they just send us two boxes of wine, and this is one example, and there another example. Okay, maybe enough talking. Let's look at something interesting. Here is a login screen to this Nuxeo document management or content management system. And when you dig through HTTP request here, you will see such request. Okay? So maybe there is a path traversal here. Let's try. too easy. Doesn't work. Maybe this. Also, it doesn't work. But there is something interesting here. When I have this HTTP request, and when I put here something like this, this still works. So maybe they are just filtering // which is sort of good when you want to protect from this path traversal vulnerability. But you should do this very carefully, because you can try something like this. They are filtering this stuff, and we can put something like, okay, and when they filter out this, let's try. Okay. 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 And yes, it works. It is not authenticated. I can delete all those cookies, and it still works. So you get access to XML files with passwords, application configuration, and so on and so on. So it's the first bug. The second bug requires any user account in this system. I will use here admin account, but any user account is also okay. Okay. And the very basic functionality of this system is to upload files. But actually, the files are uploaded not into the web root. So you can upload a file, but you just can't access it directly. So the idea would be to upload JSP file. This is Java-based solution. And then somehow access this JSP file, but this is outside of the web root. How to make this uploaded JSP file into the web root. And the idea was here to prepare special zip file. And this zip file looks like this. As you can see, the name of the file here is prepared to have path traversal in zip file, in the name. So normally, when I open this file in Windows, for example, I see nothing here. Okay, but I can edit it, for example, just in hex editor, or maybe in just a script like here, using ZipNote. ZipNote is a very little tool for manipulating file names, comments, and so on in zip files. And this name is manipulated into this path. Here is very simple JSP shell. And one remaining thing is this path. How can we know this exact path, where to upload this shell? For a second, I'm returning to this previous bug. And when I put here just single slash, garbage like this gives nothing. And when I put here a single slash, I have error, and here is this full path to the installation directory. Okay, and I have this zip prepared to upload me this shell JSP, and let's try it. Okay, new file. Okay, upload.
There were some parsers that read zip files?
Yes, they use a parser which extracts zip file, but this parser doesn't check for the name, and you can just inject path traversal there. So normally, when you upload this ordinary file and put this double dot slash, it doesn't work. But with a zip file, it works. This is I think this is a very good idea for testing your application, which extracts, for example, zips. Okay, we have this zip file. Now I'm, where is this file? Oh, here. I will put preview just to extract this file on the server. Here is an error, but I don't care. The files, or more exactly, the file has been extracted, and now let's try this. Okay, here is our shell, and here is the result. So actually, we need only normal user account uploading this specifically crafted zip file, and Nuxeo is busted. And maybe the third bug here. And the third bug will be connected with external entities in XMLs. Who is familiar with this stuff? XXE. Okay, a few persons. So maybe let's get back to my presentation and a little intro to this XML External Entities. Okay, this is not new stuff, but many applications are vulnerable and many developers don't know about the problems. By the way, those external XML entities tests are available only in the latest version of Burp Suite. This is a very popular weapon testing tool. So it's relatively not widely known. Okay, in HTML we have, let's say, standard entities like ampersand, LT, semicolon for this stuff, and so on and so on. Or we can just write it more generally, ampersand, entity name, semicolon, or ampersand, hash, entity number, semicolon, or ampersand, hash, x, hex number of the entity, and then semicolon. And it works like this. Bar HTML, and when the browser parses this, all those entities are displayed like this. No problem with security in HTML. In XML, we can also have entities, but only 5 entities are defined by default. So this, GT, single quote, double quote, and ampersand. But in XML, we can define our own entities. Still no security problem yet. Okay, and normally it looks like this. Here in doc type we have entity declaration, and here we are using this entity. And after parsing this through XML parser, we have this stuff here. Okay, still no problem with security. The problem can be here. And the reason for this problem is this, that we can define so-called external entities. And external entities can just fetch a file from the server and present us after XML is parsed. This is one problem. We can also make HTTP requests. So here, if I put here HTTP 127.0.0.1, then XML parser makes an HTTP request. We can also send files from the server using HTTP request to our server. We can scan a backend infrastructure, so making requests like this. Often such interfaces are not properly authenticated or have other bugs. Okay, let's see how does it work in a lab. And I have here a very simple application for this. And then we'll be going back to this Nuxeo stuff. Okay. The normal functionality here is that we are sending an XML to the server. Here is a name which is also passed from client to the server. So we can try to put a doc type here and define external entity to fetch, for example, etc password file. Let's try it. Okay. So I have here this doc type definition. Okay. And here, in this name, I'm using this external entity, SHP. And after parsing it, I have etc password file. This is on a lab application, and let's try to find exactly the same stuff in this Nuxeo platform. Okay. I can try here to download the file. I can try, maybe this. Download. I don't care about it, but let's see here. Okay. And here we can see sort of XML request to the server. So I'm modifying it a bit. First, this header. Okay. Now, somewhere here, I should use this external entity. So, for example, okay. It looks a bit obfuscated, let's say, but when I get it and put it here, URL decoding, I see that here is my password file. So it works. And often people say that no, these external entities are only possible in, let's say, web services requests and so on, and normal applications don't use such XML requests. And this is not the true, and during, let's say, normal pen test, I see this very, very, very often. Okay. And actually, there is also a possibility to exploit such vulnerabilities. I mean here XXE vulnerabilities, even when no information is displayed here. So I can prepare an XML which consists of so-called parameter entities. These are not with this ampersand character, but with person character. And I can prepare such XML, which is sent to the server. And when the XML parser gets this file, XML parser also sends the contents of the file to my server. This is a bit more complicated, so I'm only just showing you a very little example, no live demo. But this is also interesting. So when you see in your web application XML processing, then for 90% you have this external entity problem. Okay. Potentially another interesting stuff is this XSL transformation, but we'll be going to this for a while. And first I will show you this stuff. And for this, I have to kill this Nuxeo virtual machine and start my Windows machine. Okay. Just a second. Okay. 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 And now I will launch JBoss application server. Okay, it's launching, and meanwhile, a bit of theory. This will be an example of quite common problem in web applications. We deploy an application, and for example, we are performing a pen test of such application, and we are fixing bugs, and we are forgetting about the application. But for some time, there's a bug in a library or a vulnerability in a library, and sometimes it allows us, for example, for just unauthenticated remote code execution. And there is a very interesting bug in this JBoss sim library. This is not a bug in JBoss or Java. This is a bug in a library. And why I chose this bug to show you today? Because very often no authentication is needed to exploit this vulnerability. No specific condition is needed to exploit this vulnerability. And the only requirement is that the application is using vulnerable library, vulnerable JBoss sim library. And it's also quite easy to exploit. Okay, our JBoss is already running. Hopefully. Okay. And here I have this admin console for JBoss application server. I won't be logging in. And the only interesting information here, I'll zoom it a bit. Okay. The only interesting information here is that I see here login.sim. In this Nuxeo stuff, we also had this sim library, and it was on this error. So I wanted to preview this zip file, and there was this sim error stuff. Okay, but they're using secure version, or at least I think so. This is more generic problem in old version of sim library. Okay, and what I should do here is here is some magic. If you want to have very detailed explanation of this stuff, you can just go to this blog, and there is a very elaborate explanation of this. But in short, I should locate two methods on my server, two Java methods. And first method is getRuntime, and the second method is exec from getRuntime. I put it together, and I launch exec from runtime with arbitrary command. How does it work? Okay, I copy this stuff. I put it here. Any file with sim extension would be okay. I have login sim here. Okay, and here I put a specific number, let's say 15. Okay, I have status 404, which is an error, but I read the information from here. Okay, from the URL. And I see here that on the number 15, in my specific server, there's a method like this. I should search for this getRuntime and then for exec. And in my example, these numbers are 15 and 6. Okay, so for example, I will be running a calculator, calc, with this very long string. I copy it. I'm backing to this login sim. Now I'll try to show you the console from the server. Okay. Okay. Okay, login.sim, and this parameter goes here. We're running calculator. Oh. Okay, and enter, and here is the calculator. So it was quite easy. Just one simple URL, and actually any application which uses old version of SIM library is vulnerable. We can also see the output of the command directly in the URL. There is some magic here. We are calling here, for example, we want to know which privileges do we have when executing this stuff. So I get the environment variable user.name, and I want to have result on the screen, in the URL. So another simple URL. We should back here, login.sim. And also this is, oh no. Yep, enter. And we have here administrator in the URL. So I'm running these commands as administrator. So this is very clever method for calling arbitrary Java methods in JBoss SIM, vulnerable version. Okay. There is very, let's say, similar stuff in XSLT parsing. And this will be another demo. Okay, I'm stopping this JBoss. I'm launching another web app. MySQL and Tomcat. Okay, and let's get back to the theory. Another question, who is familiar with this stuff, this XSLT processing? Still not too many persons. Okay, this is very interesting because when you learn about this stuff, you don't think that there can be actually any vulnerability in this. This is so simple and it doesn't touch any server side, you see. But very often you can just execute arbitrary code using the transformation. Okay, what is this XSLT? Actually, it transforms XML documents into another XML documents. And the common use is like this. So you have, for example, XML, which is database generated. User provides a template. This is styling document, XSLT, and the output is nice HTML, which is served to the user. For example, you have here such XSL document. As you can see, this is this reminds this plain HTML document with additional tags like this. Here is this XSL document. Here is XML document, so data, and the result is like this. Here is HTML header, and here we have a very little loop which gets all those names and emails, formats it, so table row, and displays this in place HTML. No idea how to make remote code execution in just such very basic stuff. But of course, in Java, they allow for very many crazy things in many of their libraries. It is possible to make something like this. Declare a variable. This is arbitrary command. Then get this runtime. This is very similar to this JBoss SIM stuff. we're getting runtime also, and then we're executing a running function exec from runtime with this parameter cmd. And when I upload or use this XSL file, then server just executes arbitrary code. Let's see how does it work. Okay. Hopefully our third application is already running. Okay, I have to log in into my account and password. Okay. And here in this little application, I have a possibility to custom my colors. So after logging in, I have to choose my color and just upload this XSL file. Doesn't look dangerous, right? But we can use the same XSL file as in the presentation. It is here. As you can see here, I'm running also calculator. Okay. Okay. Okay, and my console is here. Hopefully there's no calculator yet. No. Okay. And now I'm just saving this XSL template. And calculator. Yes. In Java, this works by default. So you don't have to change your XSL parser, just it works. This is XSL library. And for example, in PHP, it doesn't work by default, but reading files from the server works by default. You can just use this construct, so copy off and put here a file. And you will see sometimes the first line of this file and sometimes more. Okie dokie. And the last thing will be bypassing upload filters when there is a PHP application running. And the standard filters from blocking uploading shell into PHP applications, standard filters are like this. So we blacklist certain extensions like PHP, PHP3, PHP4, PHP5, PHP5, PHTML, and so on. And we are also checking the uploaded file structure. So we want to know if this uploaded file is a real image. If not, something is wrong, we're not allowing this. Okay? How to bypass all both of these filters? Okay. First off is a bit tricky. It sometimes works, and some of Apache servers will interpret this file actually as PHP. And those not so properly configured HTTP servers work like this. This extension, I don't know it. Let's get one step back. This extension, I don't know it. One step back. This extension, no. This extension, oh yes, I know how to process this extension, and I will be using, I'll be processing this file as PHP file. Not so long ago, it was default configuration of Apache on Debian Linux, for example. And still there are many, many examples in the wild which use this strange parsing behavior, let's say. Okay, we can try it on my last application. And okay. Okay. So for example, I will prepare you a file a little shell. Okay. I'm saving it as this. And here is this random stuff. This is very important, and this PHP is also very important. Okay. I'm saving this. And then I'm trying to upload this. Okay. And now we have here this file uploaded to the server. And when I click this, I have PHP executed. This is strange, but this very, very often works. And how to bypass those image check validation. So I can just prepare here a little image in Paint. Maybe this will be okay. I'm saving it just to my desktop. Confi PNG, for example, is okay for now. Okay. It looks like this. Nothing interesting for now. And now I'm opening this file into Notepad. So here we go. And here I'll put stuff like this. Okay. I'm saving the file, closing it, and it still opens as a valid image in Windows. Okay. Now I'm changing the name. So the stuff we saw a bit earlier. So JPEG, PHP, this is important, and this random stuff. I'll put here 1 to have easy upload. Okay, yes. And I'm uploading this newly created file. Okay. Save. And here we can see this X character, let's say, no problems. In HTML source, we see this file. And when I click here, there is binary representation of this file, and at the end, you see the code has been executed. The browser just parses this first part, and we parse both parts. Okay, so this is perfectly good image. So validation, which checks if this is good image, will give us okay, and by using this appending trick, let's say, we can execute this code like this. Okay, what else? I have some more interesting stuff, but not for today, unfortunately. We have already, I mean the guys from my company, reported some bugs in .NET Nuke. This is full unauthenticated admin and some other bugs. This is already fixed, but no disclosure for now, maybe for a month or something like this. And I also found 2 bugs in TP-Link devices, in most of TP-Link devices, old, new, which allow me for gaining operating system root on such devices. And disclosure will be on securac.pl very, very soon, all those bugs. Questions. I have a question for you, and the winner will get this, this little bottle of wine. And the question is, we had 2 types of XML entities. Those normal entities with ampersand, let's say external entities with this system keyword, And there was another entity type. And what is, yes?
Please wait.
Was it parametric entity type?
Yes, yes. Parameter entity, but parametric is also okay. What was the character with this parametric?
Percent sign.
Percent character, yes, very good. So you're getting this bottle of wine, so it will be waiting for you here. Congratulations. Okay, and do you have any questions for me? Okay.
Thanks. You have shown PHP shell via image, but it works only in PHP, I think, because PHP.
With PHP, yes.
Yes, it's like all the garbage. It is like comment. All that all code. It's code.
Yes, yes. It could work also, for example, for JSP, because we could use. We could use something like this, for example. Name this file as JSP and upload JSP. There was also a very similar vulnerability in this .NET Nuke content management system, and there was a possibility to upload your avatar image with .NET code, and it worked. So it's, let's say, sort of universal.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Just wait a second a bit.
I just want to make a short comment that in my humble opinion, it was the most professional presentation I have seen at Confidence for now. Thank you.
Thanks.
I have the question about this execution in ASP. It is work in old ASP like Visual Basic or with .NET also?
You mean this stuff?
Yes.
Actually, if you have an opportunity to upload ASP or ASPX file to your IIS server, and when you put code like this, it should work in ASP and also in ASPX. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
So this binary stuff is usually parsed as just plain binary, like normal HTML. And when the parser sees this we are starting coding characters, it just runs. This was the case with this .NET Nuke CMS vulnerability. Yeah. FCK editor has many filters, and they know about all those stuff. It was vulnerable. Okay, maybe some specific situation. You can just, if you want to see some details, just Google for this .NET Nuke vulnerabilities, upload avatar stuff, and it works. And this is written in .NET, so ASPX. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much.